It has felt like an eternity, but at long last, FF2M is back here at the Silverstone circuit for the next two races of the 2014 FF2M season. I'm your FF2M commentator, of course, Joseph Willows, and we are here at the world famous Silverstone circuit for the next two races of the season. Now, it has been a very, very long time, and in the last race at Monaco, we had Thomas Gonzalez win the feature race, and we had Suki Yoshida win the sprint race. Has left Thomas Gonzalez with quite a comfortable 18-point lead ahead of Cooper Lee, and then a further 2 points ahead of Fabio Lima. But here is the track here at Silverstone. We are using quite an old version of the track. Judging from that map layout, we are using the 2009 layout of Silverstone. Previous years we have used the 1993 layout of Silverstone, so whether that map is accurate we'll have to wait and see. Of course, we will have 34 laps in the feature race coming up for you, as we get a very nice shot of the tractor in the background. And we come off a very impressive Christmas break with the news, of course, that Thomas Gonzalez, the current championship leader, is moving up to FF1M next season with Tornado, so congratulations to him. But here is the grid then for the feature race here at Silverstone. Thomas Gonzalez, the championship leader, starts on pole position with Stoffel Vandoorne in second. Charles Pic will start in third with Max Verstappen fourth. Esteban Ocon starts in fifth with Antonio Felix da Costa in sixth position. American Alexander Rossi starts in seventh with Australian Cooper Lee in eighth. Fabio Lima starts in ninth with Pierre Gasly rounding out the top 10. Pascal Wehrlein starts 11th with Suki Yoshida in 12th. Felipe Nasr starts 13th with Max Chilton in 14th. Gencho Chi starts in 15th. Marcus Ericsson in 16th with Sergei Sirotkin in 17th, Benjamin Pryor in 18th, Daniel Kvyat 19th, Will Stevens in 20th, Naoki Yamamoto in 21st, with Nicholas Latifi in 22nd and last position. So there is your grid then for the feature race here at Silverstone. It should be quite an interesting race indeed, hopefully a very exciting one. Silverstone usually provides some exciting races and quite a lot of drama as well, so hopefully we get to see that here in the feature race at Silverstone. So we are all set to go. Thomas Gonzalez, of course, having a very comfortable 18-point lead in the Drivers' Championship. Will he be able to increase it as the 5 lights are now on? And the feature race here at Silverstone is underway, and it seems to be a good start from Stoffel Vandoorne, actually. He's trying to get alongside Gonzalez. Can he try and hang it around the outside into Copse? No, he can't. Gonzalez is going to hold on to the lead for the moment. A fantastic start for Charles Pic. He looks like he's got ahead of Stoffel Vandoorne. He's got second. In fact, he's actually challenging for the lead. And Gonzalez is taking it. Charles Pic takes the lead here in the feature race, and it's also a good start. I think that's from Vandoorne as well, trying to get by on Gonzalez as well, but he can't quite make the move stick, as at the moment Verstappen finds himself in a willow sandwich as they come out of Chapel and onto the hangar straight for the first time today now then. Lots of side-by-side going on in the background, like Ocon trying to have a go at Verstappen for P4. Can he get the move done on the teenage Dutchman as he goes onto the inside? No, not quite. Verstappen just hangs it around the outside through Stowe Corner there and holds on to the position, as Charles Pic now starting to build a bit of a gap at the front between himself and championship leader Thomas Gonzalez, as he's got Vandoorne over the backside of him at the moment. Rossi currently in 6th position ahead of Lima in 7th, and Da Costa rounding out the points playing positions in 8th position as they make their way towards the Abbey chicane now then. So this is the 2009 version. I think it is a different year, but I prefer to call it the 2009 version, as this was the previous version before the version that we have today. Of course, as Rossi's on the inside of Ocon, can he get 5th place from the Frenchman? Side by side they go down towards the Vale corner, and that's P5 for Rossi, and also trying to go through as well is Fabio Lima. He takes P6 thanks to a lockup from Esteban Ocon, and that's P6 for the Swiss driver. Meantime, Cooper Lee has got by on Antonio Felix da Costa. He's got up into 8th position, and now Cooper Lee's teammate Pierre Gasly fancies his chances. Can he get P9 off the Portuguese driver heading into the Abbey chicane? He's trying to have a look, but Da Costa fends off the position and holds on to P9 for the present moment. He looks like he's got Marcus Ericsson up behind him. He's got a spinner in the background. That's Max Chilton. Max Chilton in the STV racing car has gone for a spin. It looks like it was a mistake on his own accord. There's now Vandoorne on the inside of Gonzalez, and that's P2 for the Belgian. So Gonzalez is dropping back a little bit as Vandoorne now gets himself up into 2nd place. Does he have the pace now to try and hunt down Charles Pic for the lead of the races now? Gonzalez has Max Verstappen all over the backside of him now, so there's now going to be a fight for 3rd between the Argentine and the Dutchman as they make their way out of Beckett's and through through Chapel now, then heading down the Hangar Straight and running on board with Max Verstappen. He's got the slipstream of Gonzalez. Would he try and get him now into Stowe Corner, going up the hill? The crowd, there's a big crowd here that will witness his overtake, and he does it. Verstappen up into third place. So in the space of a few corners, Gonzalez has lost a couple of places. As meantime, Lee has got up to 7th. He's passed Ocon on the timing screen there. As meantime, we've got a replay. Latifi, who goes off at Copse Corner. Can he keep it away from the barrier? He touched the barrier, but luckily no damage from the Canadian there, so he will live to fight another day. Meantime, Gencho Chi now on the inside of Marcus Ericsson, and that's P11 for the Chinese driver. So it's Pascal Wehrlein, as that's Antonio Fitz da Costa who's gone off at Copse Corner now. So somebody else has had a bit of an off, and now he's dropping places like a fly. What on earth happened to da Costa? Was it a similar error to Nicholas Latifi going through the first corner? And it looks like some understeer there, so a little bit of a different error, but it did look like a similar error to Nicholas Latifi, just with different kind of consequences, as now da Costa locks up again, and he goes up at Priory. Da Costa's up again. He's definitely struggling on that tyre. There's probably a lot of flat spots on that tyre, that's for sure. Probably, maybe even a bit of damage from going over the gravel, but da Costa's race is completely wrecked. Is now Kvyat trying to have a go at Wehrlein, but he's lost it. He's lost the back end on the braking and has spun at Stowe Corner, so it's all kicking off in these early laps. As you can see in the background, look, Kvyat going through. There's a little big lock up there from Ericsson's. That's Ericsson who's gone round. He's been tapped around, and now he's dropped a load of places as well. As Nasser now goes off at the exit of Maggots and then spins through Beckett's just right in front there of I think that's contact there. There's damage. That's Benjamin Pryor who's got damage as well. And Nazar also will need to have a trip to the pits thanks to that as well. Now we look at Cooper Lee, who's going on the inside of Rossi. He's making his way through the field. The man who currently lies second in the Drivers' Championship. And he gets himself up into 5th place. And his next target is his rival, Thomas Gonzalez. Remember, going into this race, Lee is 18 points back from Gonzalez. So he definitely needs to try and make some strands in the championship if he wants to have any chance of winning the FF2M Championship against the man who, of course, would move into FF1M next season. And again, da Costa involved in more incidents. This time tapping the back, and he's gone for a spin. Now we're at the mandatory pit stop stages. As into the pits now comes Shell Pick from the lead of the race. Vandon will take the lead temporarily. I think he stayed out on the track. Yes, there doesn't look to be any more mechanics. Well, there is a couple there, but I don't think any of them were Vandon's mechanics. I didn't see him going to the pits. And who's that in the background? I think that might be Max Verstappen who's coming to the pits. It's a dark blue car, unless it may be Thomas Gonzalez. We'll have to wait and see, but it is a dark blue car who's coming to the pits, and I think that's Gonzalez because it's an AJ, so not an AJ, a Tornado that's come in, and it is Thomas Gonzalez that's coming to the pits as well. He's done a 4.9 second stop, so both Pick and Gonzalez have pitted for their mandatory pit stop. Also in is Gencho Chi for AJ. I think that is the AJ car that time by, as he comes out onto the track, and Gonzalez rejoins in P8, so he's still in the point. Quite a weird pit exit, I must say, on Grand Prix 4, as Vandon will be pitting this time by, as you can see on the indication on the bottom left, but currently he leads by 2.3 seconds ahead of Max Verstappen. Cooper Lee is 9.7 seconds back from the leader at this point, so you have to say around about 7 seconds back from Max Verstappen as they make their way through Vale and through the long club corner. It's not the club corner that we're used to today. It was a very long right-hander back in 2009, quite a quick one as well. Maybe a little bit of a lift at the beginning, but it was much quicker than the one that we have nowadays. As they go through the Abbey chicane now then, Vandon keeping it tidy as he goes through Bridge Corner. Probably one of the best parts of this old part of the track, the Bridge Corner. Very flat and very easy to make a mistake due to the undulation when going down there. Through Brooklands now then. And then now back onto the bit that we all know very well, through Lovefield Corner, and we'll obviously see Vandon going into the pits this time by on lap 14 of 34. He pulls to the right and into the pits he goes. Now is Verstappen going to join him? That's the question, because he is behind 2.3 seconds. I wouldn't be surprised if Verstappen also joins Vandon in the pits this time by. We'll have to wait and see, but Vandon is in. And there are two sets of mechanics, so I would presume Verstappen is also in as well, unless he stayed out to take the lead. I don't see Verstappen, so maybe he has stayed out as the mechanics get to work on Stoffel Vandon now then. And it is a 5-second stop, so slightly slower than what we saw from Thomas Gonzalez, but not that far off. It's actually Alexander Rossi's mechanics who come out, so Verstappen has actually stayed out to lead the race temporarily. And Vandon is going to rejoin behind Esteban Ocon. He's still yet to stop, of course, as you can see on the bottom left, but that shouldn't be too much of a concern for Van Dorn. He comes out just in front. Oh, does he? No, he's lost the lead to Pick again. Well, never mind. I don't know what I'm talking about. Pick keeps the lead there. He was close to jumping Pick there, but because of how weird the pit lane exit is on this version of the track, Pick able to resume the lead as a result. But the gap now about a second between the pair of them, as now the teenage Dutchman Max Verstappen comes into the pits, and let's see how quick his stop is going to be. Will it be a similar time to what we've seen from Stoffel Vandoorne and Thomas Gonzalez? We'll have to wait and see as the mechanics get to work on his car now then, with Red Bull themed stickers all over it. And that's a very slow stop, in fact. A 6.2 second stop for Max Verstappen. So 1.2 seconds slower than Stoffel Vandoorne. So clearly quite a longer stop. There is Van Dorn, you can just see him there, and Pick, so they're going to go by him pretty easily, so no worries there for both Pick and Van Dorn. Van Dorn looks like he's starting to chase Pick again, so we could see a battle for the lead ensuing. Verstappen comes out, and he is behind Gonzalez, so Gonzalez has actually got back ahead of Verstappen, as we've got a yellow flag down at the Abbey Corner, and I think this is it right here. It's Nasser trying to have a go on the inside of his teammate. I believe that was his teammate, as Marcus Ericsson has also gone for a spin. So there was two separate incidents that went on at the chicane there. So Ericsson's race has gone from bad to worse. Now we've got the battle for the lead ensuing here. This is between, well, it'll be the official battle for the lead, because Lee, Lima and Ocon are still yet to pit. But this is the proper battle for the lead. This is between Pick and Van Dorn. Van Dorn trying to see anything he can. You can see Pick going very defensive going into the chicane there. And definitely feeling the pressure at the moment from Stoffel Vandoorne as they make their way through Bridge Corner now then, through into Priory and then into Brooklyn's Corner. We'll see if Vandoorne could possibly try and have an attempt to try and pass Shell Pick, possibly down into Copse Corner. We'll have to wait and see, as the indication on the bottom left suggests that Ocon is coming into the pits. Cooper Lee is also coming into the pits this time by, and Lima has stayed out. So Lima is doing another lap, so he'll take the lead temporarily as they make their way down the pit straight. But both Lee and Ocon are in the pits. Van Dorn didn't attempt to move down into Copse Corner there on Shell Pit. Can he possibly try and move into Maggots? He's going to have a go at the first part of Maggots. Is there enough space? He tried to have a go, but it's not quite enough. Pick's going to hold on, and that's destroyed the momentum of Van Dorn, so he's going to have to work extra hard to get back on the prow of Shell Pick if he wants any chance of winning the feature race here today, as they make their way down the hangar straight now then, as Thomas Gonzalez, in fact, he's not that far behind this group at the moment. He's 2.4 seconds back from Stoffel Vandoorne. So if these two keep fighting any longer, Gonzalez might find himself in this scrap, as we have a look at Pierre Gasly, as Ocon's just rejoined from the race, and Gasly just making his way through there due to the nature of that pit lane exit. So Gasly gets himself in front of his fellow compatriot Esteban Ocon. Well, he does so briefly, because he's now gone off the track at the exit of Maggots, and he's gone for a spin. So Ocon reclaims that 9th place, and Gasly is now falling down the field. He's now having to wait for everybody to go by. So talking about commentators' curse there. Through into Copse Corner now then, as you can see, Lima's still yet to pit, so he stayed out for quite a while, but now Van Dorn again, tacking Shell Pick now then. He went to the outside, didn't quite work out, but he's now still tucked up behind Pick, so this gives him a great opportunity perhaps to pounce down at Hangar Straight and then get him into Stowe Corner. Let's see if Van Dorn is able to do that. Coming out of Chapel now then, for the 18th time, heading down the Hangar Straight. Van Dorn deciding to go to the outside this time, but he thinks there's enough space around there. Pick able to hold on as well. If I were Van Dorn, I would have tried to go onto the inside there, but clearly he felt there was more grip around the outside, which didn't quite pay off for the Belgian, as Pick again going very defensive going into Vale. Max Chilton has just gone into the pits now then, as these lot are now starting to close up on Lima, who of course, as we've mentioned quite a bit now, is still yet to pit. 6.4 seconds the gap between Lima and Pick, although I would suspect that's probably reduced a little bit more, as these lot are on more fresher tyres than what Lima has. Pick again going defensive into the Abbey chicane there, heading down towards Bridge Corner. We've already just passed the halfway point of this feature race, and as ever, Silverstone never fails to impress. It's been quite a good feature race, it must be said. As we make their way round Brooklands, there's now somebody coming out of the pits there, and this might impact Latifi here as Rossi tries to have a go, but Latifi trying to dispose of the STV very quickly, and he makes a very odd mistake, and there's a crash, and that is one of the STV cars that's out. Latifi is out. Now, which STV car is that? I think that might be Benjamin Pryor, but I'm not 100% sure. I'll have to double check on that to see who it is, as the two leaders pass through the yellow flag area, as the Cooper Lee sets the fastest lap, and it's Max Chilton actually unfortunately not Benjamin Pryor. So Max Chilton was the one that got collected by Nicholas Latifi. Unfortunate for him, Chilton just a passenger in that incident. As now finally Lima is pit, so this is now officially the battle for the lead. Pick leading the race, but he's got Van Dorn all over the backside, trying to get hold of him if he can, as surprisingly enough, Gonzalez is not closed up as much as I thought. In fact, he might have to worry about Verstappen in a little bit, because you can just about see him there in the background. Verstappen, he's closing up to Gonzalez, so he might want to try and snatch the podium off him if he can. But if these two continue to battle anymore, this could turn out to be a four-way scrap for the lead, which will be very, very exciting, it must be said. Pick again, going very defensive. Van Dorn thought there was a gap on the inside, but it just wasn't quite enough, and he's lost all the momentum in the world, and now that's allowed Gonzalez and Verstappen to close him up now. So this is slowly turning into a four-way scrap for the lead of the race as they make their way through into Brooklyn's corner now then. Van Dorn trying to get later on the brakes and try and get a better traction than what Pitt can in the car in front, as they make their way through Luffield now then for the 19th time as they start lap 20 of 34. Pick leading from Van Dorn in second, Gonzalez third, Verstappen fourth, Lee fifth, Rossi sixth, Lima seventh, and Ocon rounds at the top. It is now Verstappen tries to have a go at Gonzalez into Copse Corner. Is this going to be P3 for the Dutchman? He's on the inside of Gonzalez. Can he get the move done as they go side by side out of Copse Corner? Gonzalez just able to hold on for the brief time as they make their way through into Maggots and Beckett. Through these corners now then we go. Now we turn our attention back to the battle for the lead between Pick and Van Dorn. Is this Van Dorn's chance now to grab the lead from the Frenchman? He's in the slipstream of Pick. Is he just got enough straight perhaps to try and get him into Stowe? He's in the slipstream. He's going to look to the inside and he brakes so much later. Pick locks up, clearly felt the pressure, and as a result, Stoffel Van Dorn takes the lead of the feature race here at Silverstone. In the meantime, you can just see in the graphic, look, Verstappen has passed. Oh, has he? No, he's still side by side with Gonzalez. Gonzalez just able to hold on for the meantime and holds on to P3 at this point in time. Sergei Sorokin now comes into the pits now then to make the way through Club Corner now then, making their way down towards where the pit straight is now in modern day Formula 1. Making their way now then towards the Abbey chicane through the left and into the right-hander now then we go. Verstappen now all over the back of Thomas Gonzalez, making their way down through Bridge Corner, probably the best corner on this version of the track, it must be said, as now Van Dorn starting to possibly now try and build a bit of a gap now between himself and Charles Pic, as we now focus on this battle for third place between championship leader Thomas Gonzalez and the teenage Dutchman Max Verstappen. Out of Luffield we go now, then heading in towards Woodcote for the 20th time as they start lap 21 of the race. Van Dorn now with a 0.8 second lead over himself and Pic. Verstappen again going to the inside of Thomas Gonzalez. Can he get P3? Again, it looks like Gonzalez is just able to hang it around the outside through Copse Corner now. Then they're still side by side. In fact, Verstappen still keeping his foot and he might actually pull it off this time. No, again, as we've got a yellow flag down at Vale, and there seems to be another yellow flag. Verstappen again failing to make the move, and it's Kvyat who's made contact there and has gone off the track, way off the track in fact, it must be said. He's gone way off to Narnia, it must be said. Now back to this battle for third. Verstappen now flicks to the right, goes to the left, tries to do in the dummy through into the Abbey chicane. Has he got the move done out of the corner? And finally Max Verstappen takes third place off Thomas Gonzalez, and he now finds himself onto the podium as Van Dorn now has a 1.4 second lead over Pic. It seems to Costa is pitting this time by. Has he got a mechanical failure of some kind, or has he been leaving his strategy quite late to the point where now his mandatory pit stop is on this lap? It's a very late pit stop, it must be said, if that is a mandatory pit stop. As now we look at Cooper Lee. He's now on the back of Thomas Gonzalez. It's now his turn to attack his rival. These two are top two in the championship. Can Cooper Lee go down the inside of Gonzalez? They stay side by side out of Copse, and I think Lee might have the traction, and he does. Cooper Lee gets up into fourth place, and that's very crucial because he can try and cut down a bit of a deficit between himself and Thomas Gonzalez. He made no footage again. There's more contact down at the Abbey chicane, and well, more carnage ensues as there's another spin involved, and oh, Rossi there very lucky not to get himself involved, as now Pic finds himself under pressure now from Max Verstappen. It seems that Pic is struggling on this stint, and now Verstappen wants a piece of the action if he can through into Copse Corner now then. Out of the corner we go, heading towards Maggots and Beckett for the 27th time today. Looks like Verstappen doing what Van Dorn did a little earlier and trying to line up Pic for a move, possibly into Stowe Corner. That seems to be the favourable passing spot on this track. Heading out of Chapel, heading down the Hanger Straight now, then Verstappen electing to go to the outside like Van Dorn did a few laps ago, which didn't work on him, and as a result, it doesn't work on Verstappen either. Heading in towards Stowe Corner, can he possibly try and dive him into Vale if he can. Out of the corner we go. He's in the slipstream of Pick, and he might even attempt it. Actually, he's going to go to the inside. He's going to try and dive it down the inside. It'll be an impressive move if Verstappen pulls this off. Side by side to go around Club Corner. They're going to keep it side by side. Lee now closing in on this fight. Pick just able to hang on as well. Verstappen just not able to find the grip around the outside with Club Corner to make the move stick, and now this two-way battle now turning to a three-way battle as Verstappen has dived it into Abbey Corner as Pick has locked up. It's another lock-up for Pick, and Max Verstappen gets up into second position, and now Cooper Lee fancies his chances of getting onto the podium. More points is better for Lee to try and pursue Thomas Gonzalez in this championship. It looks like Gonzalez has got a bit of a comfortable buffer between himself and Alexander Rossi, so I don't think the Argentine has to worry about Rossi during the course of this race. Through Lovefield Corner we go now then. Can Lee try and get Pick for the final podium place? We're on lap 28 of 34 in this feature race now then. Lee tried to have a go through Woodcote. Wasn't going to quite work out, and I think that might have lost him some momentum going into Copse Corner there. He's in the slipstream, but it won't be enough to try and attempt to pass into Copse as they now make their way out of the corner. Now they're heading away towards Maggers and Beckett's. Lee again looking to the outside. Isn't going to quite work out, so he's going to stay single file into this wiggly section of corners. And now through into the second part of Beckett's, and then through into Chapel. Will Lee try and get past Pick at the favourable part of the track? Again, he's opting to go to the outside like we've seen plenty of drivers do in this race, and as expected, it didn't quite work out for him. Now then, as we go into Stowe Corner, will he try and do a similar route to what Verstappen did on the previous lap down here into Vale? Now then, he's going to have a little go. He's going to try and flick it to the left, and that is a beautiful pass from Cooper Lee. He's been pulling off a lot of impressive passes this season, and that's another one added to the resume. Cooper Lee gets himself up into third position. A fantastic move from the Australian, and that will cut the deficit between himself and Gonzalez a little bit more. At the moment, it will be down to 16 points unless one of them has the fastest lap bonus point, but I don't think any of them have at the moment. I think that one currently goes to in fact it might actually go to Cooper Lee, in fact, because I did see him with the fastest lap a little bit earlier, but I'm not sure if anybody has pinched it off him in a 6 minute time. You just saw there that was Ocon getting by on Alexander Rossi there, so he's got himself into 7th place. Now look at this. We have the two Tornadoes now fighting it out, the two Spaniels fighting it out for 5th position, and will there be any team orders to be called into this at the moment? I'm not 100% sure, as we're on to the final lap of the race. Lima going to the inside of Gonzalez, isn't going to quite work out, so there's clearly no team orders at Spaniel, as Lima is free to clearly race the guy who's currently leading the championship at the moment, Thomas Gonzalez. I bet Gonzalez is very frustrated that his teammate is trying to attack him for 5th position. Clearly Lima is the quicker of the two as they make their way out of Beckett's and through into Chapel. Will Lima try and get 5th place off Gonzalez on the final lap of the race now then? He's in the slipstream. He's going to go to the inside, and I think the Swiss driver might actually pull it off. The FF2M Asia champion goes onto the inside, and that's P5 for Fabio Lima, so that's another place lost for Thomas Gonzalez. So that's more points that Lee will be able to gain to Gonzalez in the Drivers' Championship. But we are on to the final lap of the race. We need to see where Stoffel Van Dorn is, because he is the man currently leading the race at this point as they make their way through Vale Corner now then, using all the curb on the outside. There is Van Dorn. He's just coming around Lovefield for the final time. It's been a brilliant race for Van Dorn. He called it right with the strategy, and Stoffel Van Dorn is going to take his first win of the season. He wins the feature race here at Silverstone to take Willows' second victory of the season. A fantastic drive from the Belgian, and what a drive indeed from him indeed. So there is the results then of the race then. So here you go. After 34 laps, here is the full race result. Stoffel Van Dorn taking the victory by 5.5 seconds ahead of Max Verstappen in second. Cooper Lee gets onto the final podium place in third. Charles Pic in fourth. Fabio Lima in fifth, with Thomas Gonzalez in sixth. Esteban Ocon in seventh, with Alexander Rossi completing the points in eighth, with Genjo Chi ninth. Pascal Wehrlein in 10th. Asuki Yoshida losing out on more points in 11th, with Felipe Nasr in 12th. Sergei Sirotkin 13th. Antonio Felix da Costa 14th, with Pierre Gasly in 15th. Daniel Kvyat in 16th, with Marcus Ericsson 17th, Naoki Yamamoto in 18th, Benjamin Pryor in 19th, with Will Stevens, the last of the finishers, in 20th, with Nicholas Latifi and Max Chilton, the only two drivers not to finish the race, because both of them, of course, were involved in an accident down at Beckett's to no fault of Max Chilton whatsoever. The fastest lap did go to Cooper Lee, so nobody did take it off him, so he takes some more points off of Thomas Gonzalez's lead there. So very impressive stuff. But meantime, here is the Drivers and Teams Championships then. After the feature race here at Silverstone, Thomas Gonzalez still leads, but his lead has now been cut to just 16 points ahead of Cooper Lee. Fabio Lima now gets himself up into 3rd place. Max Verstappen up to 4th. Shell Pick moving himself up into 5th. Asuki Yoshida, thanks to not scoring any points, drops all the way down to 6th. With Ocon in 7th, his teammate Van Dorn, thanks to his victory, now finds himself 2 points behind in 8th. Marcus Ericsson 9th, Genjo Chi 10th, Benjamin Pryor 11th, with Da Costa and Rossi tied in 12th position, with everybody else down from Felipe Nasser, unless your name's Jolyon Palmer, he's yet to score a point this season. In the Teams Championship, Spaniel are just running away with it at the moment. They have 71 points compared to Willow's 38, so in total they are 33 points ahead of Willow's, who moved themselves up into 2nd position. OLM Racing are in 3rd, AJ Motorsport 4th, Liquid Target 5th, Gajera in 6th, Shake and Bake 7th, STV in 8th, with Danish the last team to have points in 9th, with GRM Junior and Horizon F2 still yet to score a point this season in FF2M. So there you have it then. That has been the feature race here at Silverstone. A very, very, very exciting race here indeed, and I hope you guys enjoyed it as well. We will see you tomorrow for the sprint race here at Silverstone, where hopefully we'll have once again another exciting race here at Silverstone. But until then, I've been Joseph Wellows. Thank you for watching, and I will see you tomorrow for the sprint race.